Hello everyone, this is part 25 of What If Naruto Came Back to Claim His Family's Name, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. 20-year-old Sakura Haruno jumped from tree branch as she was on her 5th S ranked in a mouth. She lowered her head as she thought back to that day 4 long years ago. Council room. Sakura Haruno, you have been Naruto Uzumaki's squad mate since you two were genin, right? Asked Danzo as he looked at the paperwork. Yes, said Sakura as she stood in the center of the circulate table with every single council members sitting all around her. Naruto was sitting in a corner with 2 Anbu standing next to him. Okay then, have you ever seen him lose control of the Kyuubi? Asked Danzo. May I remind you that if you do not speak the truth then you will be banned from the ninja corps. It's okay Sakura-chan, said Naruto softly from the corner. I am so sorry Naruto, said Sakura with pain in her voice. Yes I have. Back on the real world. Sakura, pay attention, yelled Sasuke. I am sorry, said Sakura. I will forgive you this time, but next time you will have to spend time in the prisons, said Sasuke as they kept jumping. Yeah, forehead. If you just follow Sasuke-kun orders and you wouldn't have to spend all that time in prison, said Ino. Ino, I will never understand why you still call him kun, said Sakura. And I will never understand why you stopped trying to get him. I mean, he is the strongest ninja in our village, said Ino. Also the coldest and curliest, said Sakura before she thought back to that day. Naruto Uzumaki, you have been found to be a threat to this village. You were found to be the person who drove the Uchiha away, said Danzo. But I brought him back. Almost said Hyuga. As punishment you are sentenced to death, said Danzo as Naruto's eyes widened. No, you are not, yelled the Tsunade as she burst through the door. Yes, Tsunade, we are, said Danzo as he stood up and looked at the very angry woman. No, as Hokage I overrule your death sentence, said Tsunade. Then you leave us no choose, said Danzo. As of this moment Lady Tsunade, you are removed from the Hokage potions. I do not care about that. I hated that job, but my finale order still stands, said Tsunade as the Anbu stepped away from Naruto. Okay, then, said Danzo, as my first order as the 6th Hokage I order the death of Naruto Uzumaki. As fast as lightning Tsunade spun around and punched the 2 Anbu. Naruto, run, I will take care of this, just get out of this village and somewhere safe. Naruto had gotten away safely and had disappeared, the only thing that they found was his headband. As of her master she was made an example of to those who would stand against the new Hokage. Her head was cut off in front of the whole village and different body parts sent to each gate. Danzo ruled with an iron fist. He started to take every orphan and training them to be root Anbu members. He did away with the ninja schools the kids learned on the battlefield. Also, if anyone refused a mission for any reason they were sent to one of the many prisons until they were taught the error of their ways. Sakura had to spend a year in prison because she spoke out against the Tsunade death and Naruto's exaltation order. The only reason they let me out is because they need someone to run the hospitals after Shizune had disappeared. Also the fact that they will kill my parents if I disobey them. Thought Sakura as the 3 of them stopped in a large tree overlooking a small farming village of maybe a dozen houses and some barns. Okay, they too, you know the mission, said the head of the Anbu Sasuke Uchiha dressed in the all black of the Anbu. Yes Sasuke-kun, said Ino. Sakura, remember, if you disobey my orders your parents and your new baby brother said Sasuke as Sakura looked down as her thought filled the image of her 3-year-old brother. She found out about him after he was born because she had spent the pregnancy in a cold wet prison cell chained to wall. When she finally got home she found her mother holding a 5-month-old red-haired boy in her arms. I will follow your orders, said Sakura as she looked at the ground. Now then, let's make an example of this village so that the others will pay their protection money, said Sasuke as the 3 of them headed toward the village just as a thunderstorm started to flash across the night sky. Your total is $6.20, said the food stand owner as he handed the food and drink over to the man as the hard rain came through the holes in the old roof. Here, said the man as he put the money on the table. Sir, this is 100, said the stand owner and cook. Keep. Looks like this village could use some help, said the man. Yeah, our crops have failed for 3 years now. We barely have anything to eat yet sell anything, said the owner as he sat down across from the man. I see, said the man as he slowly started to eat somehow through the dark mask that covered the lower part of his face. The stranger had a black hooded cloak with a white sign on its back. It was shaped like the letter W but the center point a lot higher than the others. Also around the sign was a white circle. The man's eyes were covered up by dark glasses that covered the distance between the mask and the hood. The cloak covered his body except for the heavy dark gray boots. I am guessing you're a wandering ninja, said the owner. No, I am just a ninja very far from home, said the man, and let's leave it at that. Fine, but I should warn you that the fire country is not that safe for travels. The Hokage is demanding pay for being in their land. Also money for their protection and for the use of his land, said the owner. I wish the 5th Hokage was still alive. Well, I am only passing through to Wind Country to give a message to the Kazekage. I see, but Wind Country is in bad shape as well. They had to give land to the Hokage or else they wouldn't get food after the earthquakes that rocked the area, said the owner. I see, said the man, so the Hokage is that power hungry. You have no idea. With the sound gone and the recent earthquakes in Earth and Wind Country and the storms in Water Country that destroyed all 3 countries' economy. They are the powerhouse and he wants it all, said the owner. Yes, it has been a very bad few years, said the man. That is an understatement, said the owner as the man stood up. Thanks for the meal, also you might as well close shop because I can sense that there are 3 ninjas coming this way. Don't worry, I will take care of them, said the man as he walked into the muddle street as lightning filled the sky. He stood there waiting as 3 figures walked into the street. Well, hello there, said Sasuke as he walked up to the man, who stood a good 6 inches taller than him. Leave now. I have heard what ninjas from your village are doing and I will not allow it, said the man. Isn't he funny, Sakura? This person thinks he can stop me, said Sasuke with a grin as Sakura stayed stone-faced. I asked you a question, now you better answer it. I do not know, sir. He is an unknown, so we have no clue what he is capable of, said Sakura as fast as lightning. Sasuke slapped her so hard everyone could hear the sound of Sakura's jaw breaking as Sakura fell into the mud. I am an Uchiha, woman, that is all you need know. Just for that you are spending a week the prison, said Sasuke as Sakura placed her hand against her jaw as she started to heal the break. Well, since I am going to jail, I just want to say this, you snake. You are without a doubt the most evil, heartless son of a b on the face of this earth, said Sakura as she stood back up only to be sent flying back into the mud. Make it 2. You demon lover. You will never get over that the dupe is gone and that you never told him that you love him, said Sasuke as he spat on Sakura's head as Sakura started to cry into the mud. Loser. This is how you take care of your own, said the man. Are you all right? Look at me, you worthless man. I am the one who you have to worry about, said Sasuke as he finished. He felt the wind get knocked out of him and he saw that the man's gloved fist in guts. I am not talking to you. So shut up, said the man as he removed his fist, causing Sasuke to fall to his knees. Ino tried to help, but she too found herself in the mud. Slowly the man walked over to Sakura and knelt down next to her and leaned into her ear before whispering in Sakura's ear. Are you alright, Sakura-chan? Naruto Namikaze, the 6th Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves, sat in his office trying to solve the problems of the past week. The main problem facing the village now was rebuilding from the Akamiki attack. Before, the Anbu had been able to contain the enemy. They had knocked out power and water to half the village. Lucky they hadn't done anything to the water supply, but the food was a different story. The Akamiki clan owned 1/4 of the farmland the village used for its food supply. With those now gone, there will be a food shortage in the outlying villages that depended on his village and their huge fields for food. Well, at least Itachi is out of my hair, thought Naruto as he looked down at the reports that he made his and Sakura's daughter, Kushina Namikaze, and Sasuke's and Ino's son Fugaku Uchiha. This black Sharingan of Fugaku's has me worried. We have no idea what it can do and if it will hurt Fugaku to use it. Naruto-kun, said a sweet voice as Naruto looked up to see his wife of 13 years standing there dressed in a pair of pants with a white top, and her jacket with the pink flames around the bottom edge like the fourths. What is it, Sakura-chan? Asked Naruto. Don't you remember what day it is? Asked Sakura as Naruto started to run through dates in his head. It wasn't their wedding because that was in June, it was the autumn. Her birthday wasn't for another few months. Then he looked at the calendar on the edge of his desk. October 10th. So, it's my birthday, said sadly Naruto as he looked back down as Sakura walked over to the man she loves. Naruto-kun, I know that this day hurts you, but you have to give the speech to open the festival celebrating the defeating of the Kyuubi, said Sakura. I still don't like the fact that they call it that. Kyuubi growled as he appeared next to Naruto. I only came here because I thought your village cared my mate. You're preaching to the converted, said Naruto as he rolled his eyes as he pulled out a clean sheet of paper. I better get writing that speech then. Don't bother, I wrote it for you a few days ago, said Sakura as she pulled out the paper and handed it to her husband, who quickly looked it over. This is good, sometimes it is scary how well you know me, said Naruto. Well, now that that's out of the way, we have a few hours before you have to be anywhere, said Sakura as she sat in her husband's lap. Their forehead touched each other as they gazed into each other's eyes. So my vixen wants to play, whispered Naruto as the Kyuubi headed toward the door, locking it before he disappeared. You know I do, said Sakura with a soft growl into his ear. Now who am I to deny my wife and make what she wants? Said Naruto as he caught her lips with his. So how are you doing, Kushina? Liz Uchiha asked as she sat with her best friend at their favorite food stand, Ichiraku Ramen. You know, but could be better, could be worse, replied Kushina. So what did you get your dad for his birthday? Asked Liz. We have something planned, but you know my dad never really liked this day, with the whole story about how my grandparents s on this day, said Kushina. Yeah, our clans have had a troubled past, but at least we have a good-looking future for us, said Liz as the street lights for the festival started to turn on. You got that right, next month we may be heading to the Chunin exams and that will be fun, said Kushina with a huge smile as she looked at her friend. You know, Kushina, only you would be happy about the thought of an exam where you could S. Liz replied while rolling her eyes. Once she was looking in the other direction, her eyes widened and she flipped her blonde ponytail with black ending over her shoulder. Hello there, Kib-kun. Kushina looked over her shoulder to see the prodigy of the Inuzuka clan, the son of Kiba and Hinata Inuzuka, Kib Inuzuka. Hello, Liz, said Kib as he just kept walking, and Liz followed him with her blue eyes. You know, sometimes you can be really shallow, said Kushina. I am not. I know you love my brother and all, but admit it, Kib is hot, said Liz. I don't like Fugaku that way, said Kushina as her inner self kept yelling out her love for Fugaku Uchiha. Sure, said Liz as she rolled her eyes. So now that you have that golden Rasengan thing, you're almost unstoppable. No, I am not, that thing almost killed me, said Kushina as she looked at the bandages that were still wrapped from her elbow to palm. Mom said that if I had done even one more shadow clone, I would have pushed my chakra too far and beyond the point of recovery. Well, I don't think a move that powerful will be needed often, said Liz as they finished her meal. Well, we better get going. Your dad is going to give his speech marking the 33rd anniversary of the village defeating the Kyuubi. You know, you really shouldn't call it that, all he was tricked, said Kushina as they made their way toward the Hokage Tower where the Hokage always gave the speech marking the event. Already seeing Naruto standing there, Sakura was behind him with the council. Welcome everyone to the 33rd annual festival of the village defeating the Kyuubi, stopped it from destroying our home and taking our loved ones. Even though we now know that the Kyuubi was tricked into coming here, and now he and the other demon foxes are our village ally. So why do we still celebrate this day? We celebrate to remember those who we lost that day. Every single villager, ninja and our Hokage at the time, my father Minato Namikaze, said Naruto as a small tear ran down his cheek. But since that day we have rebuilt from 2 sound invasions, and now we are rebuilding from an attack from within when members of the Akamaki clan tried to destroy the Uchiha clan and my own. Now we can't hold grudges at those who did nothing wrong. Please do not hate them, hate only leads to suffering. I should know I was hated growing up because I had the Kyuubi we all hated sealed within me, and now I am your Hokage, Suddenly there was a huge cheer and applause came from the crowd as a smile crossed Naruto's face. So please remember, do not blame someone because of something out of their control and now enjoy the party. With that, fireworks shot up into the air. Nice speech, Naruto-kun, said Sakura as she kissed her husband before they left the Hokage Tower roof. The kids are planning to give you the gifts tomorrow, now I believe we need to go meet the old gang. Yes we do, said Naruto as both of them disappeared. Is everything ready, Sasuke-kun? Asked Ino as she looked at her husband as they stood in the inner courtyard of the main Uchiha house. Yeah, but Ino-chan, you don't have to do this, said Sasuke as he looked at his wife. Yes, I do. We need to get past this and remove the last ghost from our past, Sasuke-kun, said Ino as Sasuke lowered his head. I understand, but still I am worried. Don't worry about me, said Ino as she placed a hand on her husband's cheek before kissing him. All right then, said Sasuke as he started to run through hand signs. Slowly a dark mist gathered in front of them. Soon the mist started to take the form of a man wearing a red uniform with plate armor in certain places. He had brown hair and spiral marks on his cheeks. What happened? Asked the man. Hello Chuji, said Ino as the man looked at the woman dressed in black pants, with a purple shirt. Ino? Asked the 20-year-old Chuji. Yes, it me, said Ino as Chuji looked around. He saw a man dressed in the white robes of the Hyuga clan, his dark hair framing his white eyes. Standing next to him was a woman also dressed in the tradition dress of Hyuga woman, only her hair is up in a bun. Neji, Tenten? Asked Chuji. Yes, it's us, said Tenten as Chuji's head kept turning. Next he saw a blonde-haired woman with a fan on her back. Standing next to her was a black-haired man with a cigarette in his mouth. Temari, Shikamaru. Yes, old friend, said Shikamaru. Next came a blonde-haired man and a pink-haired woman. Naruto, Sakura? Asked Chuji. Welcome back, said Naruto. Next Chuji saw Hinata and Kiba, and then Lee stood still dressed in his green training uniform. Shino was leaning up against a far wall. Finally his eyes came to rest on a black-haired man, standing next to Ino. Uchiha, you snake, growled Chuji as anger flashed in Ino's eyes. Chuji, don't say that again or I will send you back, said Ino as she glared at her old teammate. Back where? Chuji asked, confused. To the world of the S, Sasuke brought you back. You have been S for 14 years, my friend, said Shikamaru. A lot has changed. I have been S for 14 years. Chuji asked, stunned. You still are S, only brought back for 24 hours or until I decide to send you back, whichever comes first, said Sasuke as he noticed a small tick in Ino's eye. Ino is upset, she always does that when she is upset, thought Sasuke, and thanks to years of being with Ino he knew how to calm her down. He pleased his arm across her shoulders and his hand came to rest of her far shoulder. Right away Ino's eye stopped the tick. Get away from Ino-chan, yelled Chuji as Ino rubbed her temples trying to stop the oncoming headache. However, just then the backyard door slid opening, causing everyone to turn their heads towards it. Only to see a 12-year-old boy dressed like Sasuke was when he was a genin, only with a sword across his back and his hair. Instead of the all-black hair of Sasuke, he had blonde highlights running through it. Fugaku, I thought you were at the festival, said Sasuke. I am sorry, father. I forgot something and had to come back, said the boy. That's fine, come here, there is someone I would like you to meet, said Ino as the boy walked and stood in front of Ino and Sasuke. Chuji, I would like you to meet mine and Sasuke's eldest child, Fugaku. Chuji just stood there wide-eyed as he looked at the boy. Everything screamed Sasuke, but somehow he could see just that little bit of Ino in those dark eyes. Your son. Yes, Fugaku, this is mine and Shikamaru's old teammate that I killed when he tried to kill your father, said Ino. So this is Chuji Akamaiki, said Fugaku as he glared at Chuji with the Uchiha glare. Yes, he is. Now why don't you head back into the village and have some fun, said Sasuke as Fugaku nodded his head before leaving. So you and the Uchiha had a child, said Chuji as Ino rubbed her temples again. Chuji, call Sasuke by his name, not Uchiha. I am an Uchiha, so are our 5 kids, said Ino. Now tell us why did you try to kill Sasuke? Why did you force me to kill you? You killed me, asked Chuji as he looked at his teammate. You were dressed in black with a kunai in your hand waiting for Sasuke to walk out of the bathroom in our house. Yes, I killed you, said Ino. Why? I was only trying to protect you from him, yelled Chuji as he pointed a finger at Sasuke. You know Chuji, you and your father's hatred of Sasuke destroyed your clan, said Shikamaru as Chuji turned his head to look at him. What? A week ago, your father and clan tried to kill Sasuke's and Ino's family along with mine and Naruto-kun's, said Sakura. As Hokage, I had no choice. I ordered the Anbu to restore order to the village. Most of your clan was killed, your dad killed himself in an Anbu jail, said Naruto, although I will admit I am not sorry that he is gone, he threatened our kids. Now Chuji we have things to talk about, said Ino. You mean that they are all gone? Asked Chuji as he looked at Naruto. Most but there are 23 members of the Akamiki clan left, said Naruto as Chuji looked at the ground. I am sorry about that. Well you should be, you couldn't have found a way to talk to my father and calm him down, said Chuji as Naruto's eyes narrowed. Chuji, your father was paranoid. He thought that Naruto and Sasuke were planning to take over the village, said Shikamaru. Yeah, he could put 2 and 2 together and somehow get 7, said Kiba with a grin before Hinata slapped him in the chest. Okay, I'll shut up. I am sorry Chuji but it is all true. He ordered his own family members to try and kill our children, said Naruto. One time he wished that my daughter had S on her first C-ranked mission. You have a daughter? Asked Chuji as Naruto smiled. Yes, Kushina our eldest daughter, Minato and Altair the twin Terrazan sire our youngest daughter, said Naruto as Sakura smiled. Chuji looked back around the circle of friends. 4 troublesome daughters and a son, said Shikamaru as Temari slapped his chest. A son and a daughter, said Neji. 2 sons and 2 daughters, said Kiba as he put an arm around Hinata. I have 1 youthful daughter, shouted Lee. I am not married, said Shino flatly. We have Fugaku and his twin sister Liz. Then comes our other set of twins boys Shun and Ritsuo. Lastly is our little girl Rei, said Ino. So I missed a lot, said Chuji. Yeah, but before you meet with anyone else we need to find out what really happened on that night, said Naruto. Flashback. Now do you understand your mission? For the good of the village and the clan, Sasuke Uchiha must said Chooser. I know father, said Chuji as he stood up dressed in all black. Before he turned to leave, Chooser spoke up again. Son, I am sorry that you have to kill one of your classmates but it is for the greater good, said Chooser. I know that too dad. Don't worry father, once I kill the snake and free Ino-chan, said Chuji as Chooser smiled. Son, I don't have to tell you this but I am going to anyhow. I am proud of you and I know that your mother would be too if she was still with us. Thanks dad. Be careful son, you're all I have, said Chooser. Don't worry dad, soon you will have to deal with grandkids, said Chuji with a smile. I just hope you'll find that kids may have blonde hair. End flashback. Last thing I remember was waiting outside the bathroom door for Sasuke, my poison-tipped kunai in hand. Then everything went black, said Chuji. That black was my kunai going into your skull, said Ino. Why don't we take this inside? I agree, said Neji as the others nodded. But first I want to know, how did my father take the news of my death? Asked Chuji as everyone looked down. Not well, said Shikamaru. Flashback. This isn't going to go well, thought Shikamaru as he knocked on the door of Chuse's house. Coming, yelled a male voice from within the house. Soon the door opened to show Chooser standing there. Shikamaru, how are you my boy? Chooser, I have some bad news, said Shikamaru with a sigh. What is it? There has been AM at Uchiha Estate, said Shikamaru. Is Ino okay? Asked Chooser. She is fine and so is Sasuke, said Shikamaru as Chooser had a confused look on his face. It was Chuji. What? I am sorry but he was in their house with a kunai in hand, said Shikamaru as Chooser's fist tightened and his knuckles turned white. So the Uchiha killed my only son, yelled Chooser. No, Ino did, said Shikamaru. End flashback. That night riots broke out as your clan tried to find Sasuke and Ino, but Naruto and Sakura were hiding them, said Shikamaru. And almost every day for the next 13 years they asked for Ino and Sasuke to be put on trial for your death, said Naruto. It drove me crazy telling him no, knowing that I would have to repeat the same thing the next morning. Okay, let's go inside, said Ino. On a street in the village. This is great, yelled Liz as she dragged Kushina through the crowds of people. Liz, just pick some place and stay there, yelled Kushina back. But we need to find Kib-kun, said Liz with a dreaming look on her face. And you don't think you're shallow, said Kushina as she rolled her eyes before Liz smirked. Well, you know that Kib is my brother's best friend, so they will be together, said Liz as Kushina's eyes widened. Well, what are we waiting for, said Kushina as she grabbed Liz by the hand and dragged her through the crowds. This is going to be so cool, said Minato Namikaze as he sat with his twin brother on the roof overlooking a major shortcut between two streets. Now all we have to do is wait for it, said Altair Namikaze. That is always the hard part, said Minato as he saw two people come running down the alleyway. Here we go. Do you have any idea where you're going, Kushina? Asked Liz. No, I don't, said Kushina before she felt ice-cold water run down her body. He looked around to see that had been a bucket of ice water hanging over the walkway and two blonde-haired boys. Minato, Altair, I'm going to KU. That is if you can catch us, said Altair as the two of them started running. Before Kushina could go after them, she heard a voice. Kushina, are you all right? Said Fugaku as he and Kib appeared in front of them. Oh, hello Fugaku, said Kushina as she tried not to shudder because of the cold of the October night. Back with the parents. Chuji, now you understand I can't let you roam the village. Too many people know your face. It would cause mass panic if people saw you, said Naruto, so you will be staying with me and Sakura. Sasuke and Ino offered to put you up, but you already tried to K Sasuke once and I don't want you to go after them when they're sleeping. I understand, said Chuji. Good. Now tomorrow morning I have called what is left of your clan together for a meeting in front of the council. There I want you to explain what happened that night, said Naruto. Okay then, said Chuji, can we eat? Back at the party. Hello Kushina, said Fugaku, sister. Yeah, hello Kushina. Liz, what brings you two over here? I saw Emi and Anko, they said they were heading to the Nara estate for some sort of sleepover. I thought you four being best friends would be there, said Kib. Oh crap, how could have we forgot about our get together with them, said Kushina as she slapped her wet forehead. Yeah, we have been doing that since we were 5, said Liz before she hugged her head. We better get going then. See you guys later. With that both girls walked off, their heads low. Well, that was interesting, said Kib as he and Fugaku walked down the street. So did you get your sword from home? Of course, said Fugaku, also all our parents were at my house. What were they doing there? Asked Kib as a black dog head appeared out of his jacket. It appears that my dad used a jutsu to bring back my mother's teammate Chuji Akamaiki. Oh, I see, said Kib as the two of them stepped onto the training field. Shall we begin? Asked Fugaku as he pulled out his sword and Kib's small black dog jumped out of his vest. Yes, said Kib. Elsewhere. So Rick, how are you doing? Asked Minato as he, his wife Keiko, and Rick and Hinura Uzumaki sat eating. Pretty good. I mean, I am happy that my student Chu Akamaiki wasn't killed when his clan rebelled, said Rick. Yeah, but let's not talk about that. I am sure our kids are enjoying the play about the history of the village, said Hinura. We all know that idiotic play is only used so that young parents like us can go out and know that our kids are safe, said Kiko as she feed her baby boy, Tadashi, another bottle. I always found the play fun, said Rick. That is another sign of how big of an idiot you are, said Minato. Who won our last match? Asked Rick with a grin. That was pure luck, said Minato as both Keiko and Hinura rolled their eyes. Back with the Liz and Kushina. Wow, I am surprised, I thought you forgot about our get-together, said Emi Nara as she and Anko glared at Liz and Kushina. We are so sorry, it's just said Kushina. We know what you were doing, said Anko Hataki as she looked at Kushina. You were chasing Fugaku and you, looking at Liz, were after Kib. Yeah, we are so sorry, said Liz. That's okay, just don't do it again. Besides, I would do the same if I had as big of crush on anyone, said Emi. Fine, said Anko, but as punishment you two don't get any popcorn. Okay, said Kushina as they accepted their punishment. With Kib and Fugaku. You can't win, said Fugaku as Kib jumped back from Fugaku's sword swing. That is what you said last time and I won, said Kib as he looked at his Uchiha friend. But now I have the black Sharingan. But you can't use it until the test those that Mrs. Namikaze ran on your eyes to see if it can hurt you come back in, said Kib with a grin. Suddenly there was a blinding flash of light and Fugaku was gone. Meanwhile at the Nara compound. Sakushina, you and Fugaku had quite a fight against that Itachi, said Anko. Yeah, I just wish I could take off this bandage, said Kushina as she looked at her arm. Everything time I see it, I think back to when we almost lost Fugaku. Kushina, my brother isn't going anywhere, this is the first night that neither mother nor father were watching him, said Liz. And if you hate seeing your bandages, just cast a genjutsu over it, said Emi as Kushina ran through some hand signs and the bandages over her arm disappeared. See, isn't that bet? She was cut off when Kushina and Emi disappeared in a flash of light. 14 years in the past. Kushina opened her eyes and saw she was back at home. How did I get here? Thought Kushina as she looked around her living room. Everything was same but different. Gone was her parents' wedding photo, gone the picture of their family trips, of any pictures of them for that fact. In their place was pictures of her parents when they were genin and during the time when they brought Uncle Sasuke back. Finally she saw younger 20-year-old revisions of her parents, the Uchihas, Naruto and Hyugas. So it finally happened, said Emi as she crossed her arms. Kushina saw Fugaku standing behind him, his back slightly turned, and there was Haruki Hyuga. Yeah, I guess it did, said Kushina as she moved some of her hair out of the way to get a better look at the younger version of her parents. It's one thing to see the photos, but actually see them before they even got married is a little weird. Do I call them mom and dad or something else? Do I act like a perfect child? Oh screw it, just be yourself. Hey mom, hey dad, what's up? X. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.